So about a year ago, I finally bought a Steam Deck. I was so late in getting one because I stood on the fence for a really long time. I wasn't sure exactly how much use I'd actually get out of it. You see, I've always been more of a console gamer, and when I do want to game on PC, I have a gaming PC at home. As far as handhelds go, I own a ton of handhelds, including a few handheld gaming PCs. One of the major concerns before I purchased the Steam Deck was I was told by a few people that it was going to be like some other handhelds that I own, where I would spend a week or so really invested into it, installing a bunch of games, and then the interest would dwindle and then it would pretty much just be sitting on my shelf. I have to say, that has not been the case at all. As a matter of fact, I play the Steam Deck more than I play my Nintendo Switch. I probably play the Steam Deck more than I play my PS5. The Steam Deck has, in a sense, become my main console. And I know referring to the Steam Deck as a console is a major oversimplification, but I do play it more than anything else. So as it stood, I just wasn't sure if the Steam Deck would be right for me. But I made up my mind, I went ahead and pulled the trigger and went out and bought one. Now that a year has passed, I thought I'd revisit the topic and talk about how the past year has gone while owning a Steam Deck. First and foremost, I have to say that I actually do have some regrets. A couple of months after I bought mine, the Steam Deck OLED came out, so I regret not waiting a little while longer and getting the OLED version. Regardless, the OG Steam Deck is still a really badass machine. The Steam Deck has changed the way that I game in general. There really is nothing out there like it, and the experience has been a great one. It just never ceases to amaze me just how capable this little machine is. Now, when it comes to retro emulation, the Steam Deck is an absolute powerhouse. It can emulate up to some PlayStation 3 games comfortably, depending on how resource heavy it is, and everything less than that, it runs damn near flawless. Now, outside of singing the praises of the Steam Deck, I wanted to talk about a few things that I wish I had known before purchasing a Steam Deck, and a few things that I've learned along the way for someone who maybe just purchased a Steam Deck, or someone who might be on the fence as to whether or not they want to get one might sway them in one direction or another. First thing on that list is keeping things up to date. There's nothing more frustrating than not having played your Steam Deck for a couple of weeks, going back to it, turning it on, only to find that all of your games have multi-gigabyte updates waiting to be installed. Very similar to owning a gaming PC, you want to keep things up to date so that you can have an uninterrupted gaming experience. So even if you're not playing your Steam Deck for an extended period of time, it's good to just turn it on, let it run through its updates, and even cycle through the battery. It's good for the system, and it's going to be good for you just to keep everything fresh, up to date, and uninterrupted. Up next is storage. You do not want to cheap out on storage. When you own a Steam Deck, it's inevitable. You're going to need to upgrade the storage. Steam always has these sales going on. There's always a ton of good games that are selling between $5 and $10, and you're going to be snatching them up left and right. Before you know it, the internal memory is going to be full, and you're going to need more storage. So whether you're looking to upgrade the internal storage or you're just looking for a high capacity SD card, you want to invest in good quality storage. Avoid that random unknown brand 3 terabytes for $15. All it's going to do is create a headache that you don't want to deal with. Game crashes, compatibility errors, random unmounting if you're using an SD card. Do yourself a favor and invest in quality storage. If you're unsure what you should be getting, I'll put links to the storage that I use on my Steam Deck, and I haven't had any issues with it. This next one applies to those like me who enjoy playing their Steam Deck in console mode from time to time. Very similar to memory, you want to get a decent dock. Avoid those $10, $15 docks that they sell. Within a few weeks to a few months, those are just going to be expensive paperweights, and get something decent. I went through 3 cheap docks before I finally sucked it up and bought a decent one, and the difference was night and day. Everything from the image quality, the audio quality, the connection between whatever USB device I hooked up to it, there was a big noticeable difference. If you're not going to buy the official Steam Deck dock, I'll put a couple of links to the ones that I'm currently using. Up next, following up with the docks, if you're going to be playing in console mode, you're going to need a decent gamepad, and all gamepads are not built equal. I have some really expensive controllers that perform well with Windows PCs that are just shitty with the Steam Deck. So definitely when shopping for a controller, you want to do a little bit of homework. Of course, you can always use a PlayStation 5 DualSense or an Xbox Gamepad, and those work really good on the Steam Deck. But if you're looking for a solid third-party option, my best advice to you would be to do a little bit of research. The one that I'm currently using that I've had the best experience on the Steam Deck with is this Ultra Pro controller made by Binbok Play. Once again, I'll put a link to it in the description if you're interested, but like I said, you can always use an Xbox or PlayStation controller and they work fine. But just be very aware of what third-party gamepad you buy for use with the Steam Deck. Up next, and anyone that owns a Steam Deck can attest to this, is battery. The Steam Deck and other handheld gaming PCs alike just don't have enough battery for practical travel use. If you're going to be traveling with your Steam Deck, you need additional power. It is an absolute must. This behemoth that you're seeing is 20,000 milliamp hours, has a 100-watt fast charge, and is basically tailor-made for something like this Steam Deck. You don't need something fancy like this, but you do need a decent power bank if you're going to take your Steam Deck with you on the go. Without it, you better hope there's an open outlet somewhere because you're not going to be playing your Steam Deck for very long. Lastly, don't be afraid to experiment and have fun with your Steam Deck. There's a ton of games that claim they're unsupported on Steam that work perfectly with the Steam Deck. Don't be afraid to do a bit of research and see what other people's experiences have been and try it out for yourself. It's surprising how many games I've gotten to play on this thing that allege to be unsupported. As much as the Steam Deck is a beastly handheld gaming PC, it's also a tinker's paradise. For those of you that like to tinker with things, the Steam Deck is a perfect ecosystem for that. So don't limit yourself to what you see on Steam, do your own digging, and ask around a bit. You might be surprised at what you can get your Steam Deck to do. So 1 year later, and I love my Steam Deck every bit as much as I did day one. Like I said a year ago, I feel like the Steam Deck really bridges the gap between console and PC, and has become the primary way I prefer to play my games. Me, someone who has largely been a console gamer, the ease of access is just unparalleled. The Steam Deck is everything I wanted it to be and more, and I can't wait to see what Valve has in store for us in the future. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.